Good evening, everyone. I hope that everyone is doing well. I was actually watching a kids' film, and I thought that it was the perfect way to explain how the spiritual realm works. So, I know a lot of people, they've had their interest piqued in things of the spiritual realm and the workings of the spiritual realm and how it affects our lives and how it works in relation to us and things of that nature. So I was watching a show called Coraline, and I thought that the movie depicted exquisitely to me the way the spiritual realm works. And it was so simple that anyone could understand it. So I figured I'd share it because I thought it was a great example, and I'm hoping that someone who was curious might be able to take this example and understand what is going on. So the movie was Coraline, and it was about a little girl who was part of a family. Well, it was just the mother and the father, and the little girl was the only child. And every time they moved, actually the family moved into a new house. Her family, her parents were journalists for some type of writers, and they moved into a new house. And she was so excited about the house. She wanted to go explore outside, and she wanted to have her parents come with her, but they were busy trying to get their works done, their book or whatever they needed to be done for their bosses at work. And they didn't have time for her. So she would go and she tried to share with her mother, and she tried to spend time with her mother and ask her mother to come play with her. And her mother just brushed her off and was like, and told her, "I'm just too busy right now. I don't have time. I have to meet a deadline." And the same went for her father. Her father she asked, could her father take her outside? And her father said to her, "What did your mother say?" She responded that the mom said no. So he said, "It's whatever the boss says," meaning that the mom's the boss. So, and there was also an issue where the mom did not want her to go outside because she said that she would track the mud from outside into the house because the little girl wanted to go play in the rain. So she got upset, and she went to blow off steam and just explore the house. So she went to explore the house, and she found a little door that was in her room, a really, really small door, and she found the key and she opened it, and I can't remember if it was cement wall behind it or whatever, but she was interested in the door. When she went to sleep that night, she woke up and she was in an alternate reality where she went to the kitchen and she said, "Mom." And the person that turned around said, "Yes, dear." And the person that turned around was actually cooking for her, which her mom did not do. And she was so attentive, and she listened to everything she said. So she said, "You're not my mom." And the woman said, "I'm your other mother." So she gave her breakfast, and she made her feel so at home. And then the same with the father. The father was very attentive and played with her, and they all had a meal together. And he was her quote unquote other father. So the woman said, "You like it here, don't you?" And she said, yes, I really, really like it here. You guys listen to me. And she was just so elated to be in the surroundings that were opposite of what she was used to, what she was accustomed to. So she realized that somehow, I can't remember what exactly happened, but I think she realized that she had gone to sleep. And no, when she was with the family, the good family, she went to sleep again. After they fed her and put her to bed, she went to sleep again, but then she woke up back in her normal house with the normal parents that did not have time for her. And then she went to sleep again that night and went into the alternate reality with the other people. And of course, they were so good to her. And this kept happening. She kept, and then she realized that it would happen when she went to sleep. She would go to this other place where people were very, very nice to her, and it was just a better situation than her home life. Well, after a while of coming there, the woman who was her other mother said, okay, you like it here, we're giving you what you want, you're taking it, so here, you need to make the decision to stay with us. And the decision was for her to sew buttons into her eyes, and that would be a mark that she is consenting and making covenant to stay with them. See, the whole point of the spiritual world, and when we interact with the spiritual world, is the spirits are trying to make covenant with us to take us away from our planned or the destiny that was designed for our life. So they lured her in with all of the nice things, and now it was like pay up time. So the woman said, I'll leave this here, and if you want to keep having this, all you have to do is sew these buttons into your eyes. And of course, her being a human, she did not want to do it. So she said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And the woman said, okay. She tried to be nice about it. And so she went back up to go to bed. And then she came back. She found herself there again after that. And she, excuse me, because I can't exactly remember, because I saw it a few days ago, so I can't remember how I can't remember the order of things, but the point is she came back there again, and at this point the mother was a little more forceful because she saw that Coraline did not want to do what she was asking. She needed Coraline to agree with her, and because she wanted to bring Coraline to her side. And she knew that the only way that could happen was for Coraline to agree with her and to sew in the eyes. But Coraline did not want to do it. And it came to the point where she got stuck where she was. She tried to go to sleep. She woke up. She was still in the same place, the alternate reality with the other people. And she tried to go run to the other father. And the other father she saw was zombified. It was as if the woman had a hold over him. He just had lost all life. He was being controlled by these hands that were coming out of the piano that he was playing before. And the woman, who was the other mother, turned into a great, big, ugly woman. She was beautiful before, but as Coraline started to disagree with her, the more she disagreed with the woman, the more angry the woman got, until she showed her real colors. And then she transformed into some big, tall, skinny, ugly looking monster. And there was a cat in the story that could go between both. The cat went in between the real world and the alternate reality. So the cat was trying to explain to Coraline what was going on and what she needed to do to now get out of there, because she had eaten the food She had taken all that they have given her. So now that was some form of covenant, and they just needed to seal the deal with the eyes. So they had the right to keep her after she had done all of this, and she had taken everything that they tried to give her. And that's why we have to understand how, and this is why it's very important to understand that when you are offered food in a dream, you should not take it because of the fact that the spirit is trying to make covenant with you so that there can be a long-standing relationship and they can pull you off of whatever road you're on to meet your expected end, the one that God has for you. So what goes on next is one thing that was so interesting to me is the fact that the cat when they were in the alternate reality, there were these circus mice, and the circus mice, so everyone in the alternate reality was a person that was actually in her life. However, in the alternate reality, to get her to agree with what was going on there, everyone just seemed 10 times better. So there was these circus mice that were performing, and she just loved the circus mice because they spelled her name and they cheered her name and they did so much, to make her feel welcome and wanted. And one night she was, when she was in the alternate reality, she saw the mouse. And at that time she was talking to the cat, and the cat was explaining things. So she saw the mouse, and then the cat went, and the cat grabbed one of the mice to eat it. And she said, no, that's one of the circus mice. She didn't want the cat to hurt it. And the cat did not listen to her because the cat knew more than she did because the cat could see, for some reason, discern more than she could. So the cat put his teeth into the mouse, and the mouse turned into a big rat. It did, the tiny little mouse body dissolved, and it turned into a big, disgusting rat. So everything that was in that reality that tried to drag her in was only, it was part of the deception. Just as when we have dreams and we have loved ones come to us in our dreams, or and we have conversation with them, or we take food from them, or we have any interaction with anything that we're attracted to in our dreams, it's only a masquerading spirit trying to cover up what the actual intent of that spirit is, what the actual intent of the communication is at that point. And there were so many other things that happened, but that was the point. And once she had got stuck in the alternate reality, they wound up taking her parents, and her parents got trapped somewhere, and she had to fight with the other mother in order to be able to get her parents back, and in order for her life to be the same as it was before. And that's what happens to us also when we decide to succumb to succumb to the advances of these spirits that come to us via our dreams. We don't understand that they're playing for keeps. And a lot of times, once they enter into our lives, they start to affect everyone around us. So much to the point where people around us can be, trapped, for lack of a better word. They can be in prison because of their relationship with us, because of the hold that they have on our lives. It sometimes will affect everyone in our space, especially if it's blood relatives. Because once that spirit has that covenant with you, it wants to stay in the bloodline, depending upon what it is. So it's going to take the liberty that you've given it in opening yourself up to it, and it's going to now perpetuate itself or whatever it stands for throughout your bloodline. And that's what happened. And that so much to the point where she had to go and figure out a way to fight against the other mother that was coming against her and her family, because it was mad that she did not want to come over. And that's why it is imperative and that we fast and pray when it comes to this type of stuff, because that is the only way that we'll be able to fight the other spirit that's coming to us because of via the dream world or via the spirit world. So when we have the other, the spirits that are trying to affect our lives by way of dream or by way of whatever we've opened ourselves up to, what we need to do is we need to fast and we need to pray. Because once we open ourselves up to that spirit, it's going to start taking its course. We may not always see what it's doing, but it is affecting us and things around us. And what was so interesting to me is she found out later on that the way everything happened was because there was a doll that she had, and the doll was a special doll that had a spirit in it. And the other mother, which was the one that was part of the dream world, could see through it and see that Coraline was very unhappy with her life. So it used the doll to spy on her, which is a familiar spirit. So as we know, familiar spirits are what watches us, and the familiar spirits watch us, and familiar spirits get familiar with us in our bloodline so that they could plan their strategy. They could plan their attack on us, and that's how the doll was used. The doll was used as an instrument to peer into her life, and they saw that she was unhappy. So the other mother or the other family, the alternate side, knew what to do to get her to consent to being with them. They saw that her life was unhappy and no one paid attention to them. So that's what they did. They gave her the attention that she was longing for, that no one else gave her. And I think another point is that's why it's so important for us to give our children attention, because if we don't, there are spirits out there watching, and they may come to them in a dream, or they may use someone to come in to tell them things to pull them off of the path that God has for them and to get them on a path to destruction. So because and the reason I say that is because I was listening to, there's a guy on YouTube, his name is Earthquake Kelly, and he talks about, he was heavy into voodoo. He's a Haitian guy, or of Haitian descent. He was heavy into voodoo, and but he's a minister now, or he became a minister. And he was saying how when he was 4 years old, he wanted, I believe he was 4, he wanted to get high with his brothers. And his brothers said to him, "No, you can't get high with us. You're only 4 years old." And he said, okay, he left them alone. And then the spirit came to him and told him, "They don't want you to get high with them. We'll teach you how to get high." So it's just very important, because we don't know what's going on in the spiritual realm. A lot of times children, they will claim that they have imaginary friends, and those imaginary friends, I believe a lot of time, is the beginning of spirits following these kids throughout their lives and influencing them, and we can't see what they're doing. So I just pray that someone got something out of this. I know I rambled a bit because I was trying to figure out what was going on, what went on in the movie. I was actually trying to remember, I should say. So I hope that someone was blessed by this. I hope that someone got something from this, and everyone have a blessed night.